Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Bud Light. Bud Light bartenders are exposing the disastrous sales nationwide for Bud Light. One bartender in particular only bartends during the NFL season. Now the NFL season is back and they are absolutely floored by how badly Bud Light is selling in their bar. They discuss it with a lot of other bartenders and we get feedback nationwide from what's actually going on in bars right now for Bud Light. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, this comes from Reddit, so it's interesting. It's not formatted in an article. On Reddit, it's a social media site. People post questions in specific groups, and then they get comments from other people that participate in that group. This has been really insightful. Coming from the bartenders group in Reddit, anyone notice sales of Bud Light are way down? Been bartending for 20 years. The last 5 years or so, the absolute king of beer in my bar for NFL football was Bud Light. I can't give exact sales, but normally people who ordered buckets of Bud Light are now ordering Miller or Coors. We only had Bud Light on tap, but even then, a lot of people ordering Kona, Goose Island, or Guinness instead. Lots of people drinking High Noons. I'm kind of shocked that sales are this down on Bud Light. Has anyone else noticed this? Here's a report from somebody in Ohio. Ohio here, it's about a quarter of what it was before. We used to have 2 sections for Bud Light in each of our coolers, but replaced it with Miller Lite. Go through twice as much Coors as we used to as well. Absolutely wild to me. Someone suggests their sales are as high as ever, but then again, they're a gay bar. LOL. Another person says definitely down in sales, although I work in Florida, so... And in response to the Florida post, we ended up pulling the keg at my Florida bar. We can't give it away. I'm in an area that hosts a huge pride event, drag bars, big college presents, etc., but it doesn't seem to matter. It's honestly wild how much our Bud Light sales plummeted. I don't get it because Michelob Ultra still sells out consistently and it's the same company. Somebody in the Midwest says, not in my spot. Midwest drinkers are more set in their ways. Most don't care. Others are like, quote, no one's telling me what I can or can't drink. I've been drinking Bud for years. Drinking culture in the flyover states don't play. But he says here, I worked in a private party and we sold out of Yuengling, Coors, Miller, and Ultra. Not a single Bud Light was sold. I heard that it was happening, obviously, but that was the first time I saw it in person. From Missy Critter. Work at a stadium in New York. I'd say it's pretty much the same. Maybe about 3 people, a homestand will say something about Bud Light, and then 1 to 2 usually order it anyway after complaining. They're also the same people who ask if Bud Light sales are down, and I'll say, no, most people aren't homophobic. They don't really know what to do with that comment. So here's people pushing back, trying to push Bud Light wherever they can. Most of the people that I see commenting about this that are obviously trying to defend Bud Light try to do whatever they can to support it. But you can tell from people's comments throughout the country, many people are refusing to order Bud Light. They're not interested in Bud Light whatsoever. From Troas Face Killer. Bud Light sales are down significantly with our distributor. Beer sales in general are also down. But I myself usually don't drink it. Will order one when some homophobe brings up the Bud Light topic. I'm usually a Coors drinker. Here's a response from the person that posted the question in the first place, Mercury NYC. Right, but I think there's some people who don't want to court controversy. They just want to sit at the bar and not have some loudmouth giving them a hard time, so they order something else. Because it's true, if you're going to go to a bar and you're going to order Bud Light, people will see it and they will probably comment. If not everyone, at least some people will comment. Coming from Enjoy Yourself. I run a sports bar in New York City. I would normally fly through cases of it on the first NFL Sunday. It didn't move at all. Yeah, Bud Light is in trouble. Utah here can confirm. That being said, a lot of these stunads, which means stupid people, will gladly drink Michelob in its place or Kona or any number of other products distributed by the same distributor that sells Bud. Canadian here, definitely a downturn in Bud Light. The regulars who drank it before almost all still do, but we just aren't restocking it nearly as quickly as some others. Ohio here, ours are still down, but they're coming back. We did start selling Busch Light though, so I doubt Bud Light sales will ever go back to what they were. From Eternal Tuesday, who stated before they were in Florida, for the first time in 6 years at my current bar, we 86'd the Bud Light kegs, which is to say they got rid of the Bud Light kegs altogether. I mentioned in another comment we're in a district that's got a heavy alternative and LGBT presence, mainly skews between 21 and 40 years old, so I honestly didn't expect the drop-off to be so drastic for us. I mean, Bud Light has always been our biggest draft and bottle seller during most sports seasons, so the fact that we can't give it away is a huge surprise. But after how long our kegs sat, last year's average was slightly over 3 kegs a week. Now it took over a month to move our final one. My bar manager finally decided to pull it. He didn't want to. He felt like pulling it was capitulating to the drama, and he held out for months hoping it would bounce back, but it never did. Some of these people seriously melt down. Radio Slayer says, my Bud Light sales are mostly the same. The only real difference is certain a-holes are louder than they were before. And then in reply, the effing audacity of these people. I had a guy order a bucket of Bud Lights for his friend as a joke, which is actually a great idea. We all should try doing that. Cue me in opening 6 Bud Lights and putting them on the dude's tab. He did not tip and has not been back, and we are both better for it. Absolutely selling more Mick Ultra and Modelo since. Michelob Ultra is owned by Anheuser-Busch. Modelo is not. Here's another commenter. We don't even sell it anymore. We used to buy it by the pallet. A pallet is a lot of beer. It can hold many, many cases on it. That means you're getting it supplied by truck. We go through probably 40 to 50 cases a night in the season, but now I can probably count less than 5 to 10 times someone has asked for it. We, the bartenders, basically got put into a no-win situation with that whole ordeal. Quote, we sell it? Someone's pissed. We don't sell it? Someone's pissed. You get people asking about it or whatever, asking me how I feel or whatever the hell they want to know, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I just pour the drinks. There was a whole deal on social media about my bar stocking it or not stocking it, and our owner just decided to get rid of it. Bud Light hasn't really changed at my bar, but we're notably an LGBT-friendly spot in a primarily socially conservative, Bible-thumping coastal North Carolina town. Interestingly, Coors Light is starting to look like the new PBR here. We can't keep it in stock. So it's an interesting series of reports because you're seeing at the LGBT bars, they seem to just want to keep drinking Bud Light for whatever reason. So the allegation that people were trying to make saying, oh, the reason that Bud Light is now in trouble is because the LGBT people are mad that Dylan didn't get enough support. That's just not true. Another commenter, we used to order 5 to 10 cases of Bud in a week. The last 5 cases took most of the spring and summer to sell, and we haven't ordered it since. Ultra replaced it, so it's not like Anheuser-Busch sales are hurting. Another person comments, Bud Light sales aren't down for us, but people are saying they want a domestic, and I ask, Bud Light? And they say absolutely not. Here's another comment. I work at a hotel at both the hotel bar and events. Sales went to 0, but have stabilized at maybe 10 to 20% of what it was before. I don't understand how Yingling became the move, but we run with it. So a stabilization of at 10 to 20% is a drop of 80 to 90%. That is pretty severe. Another comment, I manage a restaurant. Now, I was getting 2 cases a week before, now maybe a case every other week or less occasionally. Another comment, absolutely the same here, though this is 100% dependent on where you work. If you're in a Republican-leaning area, Bud Light sales have dropped. If not, they're probably untouched. Mind you, Anheuser-Busch is doing fine, I'm sure, but less people are drinking Bud Light. Yes, I do the beer ordering at my bar, and I went from having to order cases and cases of Bud Light and Budweiser every week to going weeks without ordering any. I order tons of Corona Light now, and that flies. My Bud Light rep is an absolute dick, though, so it does delight me that he's making less money off my bar. LOL. Yeah, at my bar we go through maybe a 6-pack a week. That said, in Asheville, there's a different brewery behind every corner, so people are generally more interested in craft beer here. We're down 50% at my place. First football weekend didn't give me any reason to think it's going to change anytime soon. Changed a keg of it last week. That had sat so long, the new keg looked like it had yeast or something growing. Went from stocking about 100 bottles at the bar with another 100 in the walk-in to 20 or 10. Really interesting to see what bartenders are saying about Bud Light as of now. With the NFL season starting up, Bud Light has been doing a lot of advertising to try to reestablish the brand. It obviously isn't working. Wherever they still like it, they're drinking it, but in many places, especially according to these bartenders, you can see they're not drinking it. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you think Bud Light has a chance to come back during this NFL season? It doesn't seem like it. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.